Diana writes in and says, I'm tired of my husband teasing me about my cold hands and feet. I've been this way all my life. Now I'm beginning to wonder if there is something physically wrong with me. Should I tell my doctor about it?
I think it wouldn't hurt, although some people just have cold hands and feet. The circulation, it's not anything serious, but it's circulation in the extremities. If you have stress, stress will cause that. It'll cause your blood vessels to tighten up a little bit. But I think it wouldn't hurt to check with a doctor to see if there's anything physically wrong.
I always heard that cold hands, warm heart.
Yeah, baloney.
It's true. Feel my hands. Are they cold?
They're freezing cold. That doesn't have anything to do with a warm heart, except you've been exercising. But anyhow.
All right.
All right, what's next?
Margie writes in and says, last night I was jolted out of sleep by a severe leg cramp. It was very painful, and I had no idea what to do. It finally lessened enough that I could get back to sleep. But what can cause leg cramps, and is there anything I can do?
I strongly recommend that you go to the health food store and get calcium magnesium pills. Magnesium is a wonderful relaxer, and calcium keeps you from having leg cramps. The two work together, and they should do the job. You know, take a couple of them and go to sleep.
Why am I thinking about potassium? Is that a good thing, too?
Well, potassium is something when you're taking a diuretic, which we've got a question on later on, but potassium will help you with high blood pressure, too.
Well, speaking of high blood pressure, Pat, for as long as I can remember, my mother has taken prescription medicine for high blood pressure. I just found out recently that the medicine is a combination medicine that is part diuretic. Are diuretics safe to take for long periods of time, and should I be watching for any particular side effect?
Well, I think you should take them under a doctor's care because actually they'll take out certain minerals that might be what you need to keep your high blood pressure down and to keep things flowing properly. But I don't think that they'll hurt you over a period of time, but it will deplete the potassium, and you need supplemental potassium. And so get your doctor to prescribe the prescription ones are great big horse pills and do the job.
I gotcha. Now, we've talked about this so many times before. Are we coffee drinkers or tea drinkers? And both of us say that we are
tea drinkers.
Yeah, we're tea drinkers. Well, Julie writes in and says, Dear Pat, I was delighted to hear about all the benefits of drinking tea on previous Skinny Wednesday shows. Well, I love drinking tea, but I just heard that tea is high in oxalate, which blocks calcium absorption. I take calcium supplements to protect myself from osteoporosis, but should I now stop drinking tea?
No, Julie, don't do that. Those oxalates in tea are not going to make any difference. I mean, it's, in my opinion, of what we understand, so no sweat.
That was easy.
Enjoy tea.
Yeah, come on, brother. I'm all about it.
Right.
Helen writes in and says, now that winter is coming, I'll be exercising indoors. In order to get enough vitamin D, I plan on exercising next to a large picture window or the sliding glass doors. Will this give me adequate vitamin D to keep me healthy over the winter months?
Helen, open the sliding glass door. But the vitamin D will not go through the glass. You can get some kind of a sunburn, but you won't get vitamin D. You have to actually be exposed directly to the sun. So get out of doors, or if you can open those slides, it may be a little nippy, but
exactly.
Yeah, but just in front of a window is not going to do it.
And I think the biggest thing too is just throw on an extra sweatshirt, extra pair of sweatpants, warm socks, go for a walk.
Yeah, well,
that's my theory in life.
Well, you need the sun. Okay.
Okay, Robert writes in and says, Pat, I'm so skinny that I need to gain weight. When do we ever hear that? Never.
Not often, yeah.
Well, I've purposely eaten high-fat foods because their calorie levels are higher. Should I be concerned about eating high-fat foods and my cholesterol?
Robert, you certainly should. Just because you're skinny doesn't mean you can't have elevated cholesterol. You know, Fix, what was his first name? I forget. Jim Fix. He wrote the book on running. He was a great runner, and he dropped dead of a heart attack.
I was going to say, isn't that the guy who had a heart attack? Yeah.
Yeah, he's about 46 years old, and he was a distance runner, and they wrote the book on running. But he had bad problem with his arteries, and he had cholesterol, and he had plaque and all the other stuff that gives you heart attacks. Don't load up on fat. But there are some weight gainers you can get at a health food store if you want to bulk up. That they have the good stuff instead of fat that will help you gain weight. But listen, why would you want to gain weight? People who are thin live a lot longer than those who are not thin. And you might not look pretty, but...
You know what I've come to realize,
Boy.
Pat? People are just never happy. If you're skinny, you want to be fat. If you're fat, you want to be skinny. If you got, you know, thin hair, you want it thick. If you're black, you want to be white. If you're white, you want to be black. Not necessarily, but you know what I mean. Well, not really. I was thinking about the tanning booth, not necessarily an ethnic. It just came out wrong. You know what I'm trying to say, Pat.
I know what you're trying to say. But in truth, if somebody is really skinny, they feel bad. They're out there with a bunch of hulks, you know, with all these muscles. Rejoice in what you've got. You'll live much longer and you'll be a lot healthier. All right,
It's so true.
All right, what
Got
else?
a question for you.
Yes.
When you go to the movies, do you get
it?
snacks? Do you bring your snacks in a bag? What do you do, Pat?
It's all bad.
But do you bring snacks or do
And
you
that,
buy snacks?
that popcorn they have with extra butter has got so much calories and
But you
and
have to admit it's
fat.
good.
It may be good, but it'll sure clog your arteries.
Well, speaking of clogging the arteries, Ruth writes in and says, recently I went to the movies and bought a box of candy to enjoy during the film. Afterwards, I had a severe stomach ache. I bought sugar-free candy because it wouldn't be so high in calories. Do you think it was the candy or something else that caused my tummy
It was
ache?
the candy. If you had, well, what do they call them? Sugar-free glycols, and they have things like maltodextrol and other names like that that will cause you to have severe stomach cramps.
That's true.
If you, I mean, not everybody, but somebody who's subject to them. But that's what it amounts to. It's a sugar-free, low calories, and you know, you have, but you read maltodextron, so
Yeah.
you read all those names that you can't pronounce, and they will have you have stomach cramps.
Cool.
Some of you, not all of you.